Hi everyone. Now I haven't spoken for quite some time, and this is due to not being with a device for connection. I'm without a phone for about 1 month, and it does not look that it becomes any better. We have a replacement in the way, but the customs got this, and it seems that the universe really wishes me without a phone and maybe even to return to Europe now. And I'm making this video because around about 1 year ago I spoke to you, leaving Innsbruck behind, starting this travel into the unknown, to France, by that time to Ix'Vhaun, where we stayed from the 9th of August till the 15th, when then we continued to Holland, to Eindhoven, and since the end of August I'm already here in Colombia, and now it's time to retrospect at everything. I will be here in the mountains until the end of August, until the 20th, and my host and teacher that I found here, she's leaving her finca, and I will be entitled to guard it and do the service for the animals and for the land in the time she's not here, the next 3 weeks basically. She said it would be good to go to the indigenous, and afterwards I would like to go for 1 or 2 weeks to the beach again, and then I probably return to Europe. That's what the medicine told me about already 3 weeks ago, a month ago. That's how the things work out, and this is what my intuition tells for many who have been on their individual journey. There is a time now, with a fortification of skills and strength, to go back to old construction areas of life and close them with a newly obtained focus and resilience, where we have not been empowered and in charge to do that before. I'm really full of spirituality, actually. I cannot tell you how all this influx of old knowledge, of beautiful knowledge, of powerful knowledge really led to an overcompensation. And it is not so easy to just be, and I think many of you know that in the meanwhile. I have the perfect conditions here. We have to walk at least 1.5 hours to be back to civilization, and when we are alone up there and we are working, we don't see a single human being for the whole day. Completely connected to nature, completely disconnected from our society. That's how it feels. I don't feel anything of what's going on at the moment in a negative way in the world. I cannot see it. I cannot feel it. Over here it's not existent. And when we are in a spot like that, and Bivi, who is with me up there, she really respects my space as I respect hers. We don't have to talk about that. It's like that. But it's nice to have somebody there to talk to. And when we are out there doing our stuff, collecting the fruits or cleaning the pathways in the forest with a machete, or making wood, or constructing a house. At the moment I'm helping to construct the house and learn this, how it is done. The time flies by, and you don't realize that you are in the now, and probably in education again for resilience that you have to apply later on, because all we do say all the time is to not plan anything, to be open, to be spontaneous, blah blah blah. And this is all right, but we have to have our plan to sustain ourselves in this world. This is our world. And this really won't change, and we will still be rooted there with our bodies. This reality can be a good experience for you when you enter it with your wisdom, with your maturation that you obtained during the last 2.5 years, or it can be still stressful and a struggle and fighting. And I am called now to return to point 2 in the developmental process of spirit, of consciousness. I prefer to talk of consciousness in the meanwhile. First of all, we have to heal ourselves and see what is there to integrate, what is there to advance, what is there to grow, what is there to throw away, to take out of our lives. And then normally comes the family, the direct surrounding. And this is the key normally to open the ancestral work. This is what I learned here in Latin America. And this is what we basically don't do in Europe, in Germany, in Austria. It's a little bit more present than in Germany. Certainly it's not present anymore. The remembrance of the ancestors, of the power of the ancestors, that is always for past with each generation born, and within us, focused within our DNA, within our feminine side. And all of this, we can just discover this. We can just allow it. We can just gain accessibility of our capacities when we work with this side. And this is just possible when we calm our masculine side, when we calm our mind, even the higher mind and all the influx. So this is what's going on. This is what was happening to me during the last 3 weeks, that I had allowed deeply to just digest, to just see, to just disagree. I disagree with our mama. Sometimes she's sending me home now to Europe, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to see this. She says, now you are strong enough, my boy. Last year when your company was gone freshly, you couldn't have sustained this. Couldn't have had a clear decision that you would like to be in your strength in this world, that you would like to work with your own divine trinity. And I always talked a lot about the yogic way of seeing things, of the Hinduistic way of seeing things, and I still think it's the best way to understand the masculine energy within the body. But a very, very beautiful way of seeing things is an old Lemurian way of the kahunas or the hunas in Hawaii, who are actually old Lemurian ancestors of us, who are still there in their original form of as healers, and they work with the the lower part of the self, the middle part, which is the mind and what we do and what we decide as human beings, and the higher part. Higher part is called the Kane. Lono is the ego, and the middle part, and the Ku is the lower part. And this is our body, and this is our root, and the feminine in the world. And so very important to source our energy. We can perceive whatever we wish to perceive upwards back in the past of our memory that stored within us, that I see in the meanwhile more as our divine spark. When we have access to that, we don't have to be personally as a soul incarnated in a matter, but we can still receive the whole life, see the Akash, and know what we need to know of this life that existed once. And this is not something from our own inside necessarily anymore. For that, the ancestral work is more important and more precise, I would say. But with our Atman, with this connection, which lives in the higher heart, which seats in the throne of the masculine and feminine polarity, which is the masculine is electricity, and the feminine our magnetism. And when we have the inner union of the heart, the yin and yang, this is the throne for our consciousness, for our divine consciousness, the divine spark. And with that, we don't have to do our own shadow work. We can receive the grace of the all-knowing and of all that is. But for that, we have to deactivate and our connectivity with what's going on every day, with all the storytelling. We have to truly connect with ourselves and with our Mother Earth. And that's what I'm going through now. And that's what I wanted to let you know. Short video. I'm very, very pleased if we are in touch soon again. And oh, espera. Mira, hermanito. ¿Tienes 10?
Yes.
Sí, gracias. Gracias, hermano. Hasta luego. Gracias. A usted también. Bien día. So, from time to time, we simply have to go out of our comfort zone and allow this pain to face what we don't want to see in a way of preparation. That's what's happening to me now. Ayahuasca let me know you will go home. She didn't say it to me directly. She let me tell this by 2 different angels I have in human form. And you are watching this video at the moment. And then said, yeah, but your spiritual work with your family now is of importance. Return with all your knowledge and live this. And don't talk about it, boy. Just live it by example, and by that you heal your family. And this is what I really have to do. And from that, I am very sure, with the ancestral perspective that I wish to call it, because we don't have to do what our ancestors started. We don't have to do and continue what our own soul started as an ancestor. We don't have to, we can. But we certainly can draw our inspiration from that and our power. And that's what we have to resolve. We have to face this discomfortable, that might be discomfortable for one or another situation with the family, that they are so very different, that they have their expectations with us, that they do have these expectations because they love us. Or in the other opposite direction, when they are not loving us or treating us lovingly, to still develop an attitude towards them that we can show our internal love, where it's the most difficult. I read the collected texts and verses of Ramana Maharshi at the moment as well, and I cannot agree to the very traditional point of view to everything verbally, but he brings up exactly this as well a lot, that we have to have 2 opportunities. The one is the path of enlightenment, and the other one is the path of yoga, and which is following the karma in surrender. And the family is a big issue, and as I would say, with Atman, when we have this connection with Atman again, with God, but that's what I call God, the divine spark, we can be everything, and we are everything. We are one with everything by receiving what is the other I, by this connection. What is in our ancestral past is directly what influences our being, what are our capacities stored within. And for that, the work with the family is the mastery of the process of the I that then can dissolve in eternity and at all. Because when the I dissolves, we have this Atman connection in a pure way. And that everything can fall into place. That's how I understand it. That's why we have to come back with the experience we gathered along the path to solve own our own process within and with our closer surrounding, to be entitled to go higher and to go into the successful service of other. I think many of us are too fast there, who wish to sell something, a product, who wish to sell themselves as a coach, although they haven't worked sufficiently with themselves and their family. Yeah, so far from now, still in Colombia, playing with the thought to return end of the year to Europe. I'm looking actually for job opportunities in Switzerland, can be seasonal as well. I wish to establish the the foundation to first of all pay back my debt that I obtained for being able to learn what I learned as an entrepreneur in 3 years. Secondly, to have sufficient funds as an energy to create in a positive way, and maybe buy some land, to protect some land as well, to create one day a community, or simply travel the world as I did and as I will continue to do as a healer when I'm on duty. But when I find a job as a master alchemist somewhere in product development, I'll probably go for that as well. Or return to science when the PhD is done. We will see what my soul plan has to offer. The most important thing is probably that we remain positive and don't stress ourselves out constantly with our thoughts. And it's very difficult for me, and that's why I'm saying this, especially in particular. Alright everyone, love you, take care, and have a fine time wherever you may reside. Bye bye. Take care.